Welcome to Derp Shield. For this episode, I'm going to be doing some weekly Reddit challenges. I chose to do weeks 24 and 25 for this. Sit back and enjoy. I'm going to be doing this all as one big take, so bear with me because this will be potentially a bit rough. Anyway, here's my launch. I was just doing a reasonably standard asparagus staging here, doing the old gravity turn. Really miss having Ferrum installed. Alright, so we have gotten up to orbit nearly. Just have the couple of jumbo tanks and the atomic rockets. Alright, now that we've achieved orbit, we need to wait around for the correct time to do our insertion burn towards Duna. Time warped or edited that out. Here's me futzing around with the maneuver nodes to try to get an intercept. I've never really done this from Kerbin's SOI, so that's why it took a bit longer than it probably should have. Alright, now just warping around the planet to get to the maneuver node, and then I start my burn, stop it because I realized I started a bit early, and then I start it again. Once I get out of Kerbin's SOI, I have to do a little correctional burn because I time warped a bit too fast out of Kerbin's SOI, and it broke the rendezvous. Alright, so I skipped ahead towards when I was actually entering Duna's SOI here. Here's me just futzing about trying to get the periaps to around 10 kilometers so that I will do a nice hero break and be able to land. Alright, skipped ahead again to me just about to enter Duna's atmosphere. Setting all the parachutes to deploy as high as possible to slow me down as fast as possible, because this thing, I spent a good hour and a half trying to land it with that bottom part on, and it just wasn't having any of it because I put the landing legs on wrong, and if I burn with that last landing leg that you can see right under the atomic motor deployed, it just flips the lander out pretty hard, so that was an annoying feature. So I had to lose a good third of my total fuel that was in my lander because of that. Here's me just burning a bunch of fuel because I know I'm dropping that stage, so I don't care about its fuel anymore. Just burning it away, slowing us down. Note, this isn't 4 times speed. This whole descent was probably like a good 5 minutes before I touched the ground. I've been doing this for like an hour and a half, so I was really frustrated at this point. Then right about here is where I noticed that the ground isn't quite level, so I have to go back up and futz around trying to get to a level spot and waste some more fuel. Luckily they're nuclear engines, so they don't really care about fuel. Alright, so it's all landed, and I just deployed the extra landing legs because I could. Also, that one landing leg that's not fully deployed, I broke it because I tried to put it down onto the modular girder segment, and that was sad. So I was down one landing leg. Not that that ever bothered me, really. Here's me just repacking all the parachutes because you have to do that. Here's me planting. I planted the flag there actually. And here's me taking off. Going for orbital velocity. Just trying to get up above the atmosphere before I do my gravity turn. And And there's the gravity turn just burning away. Alright, so there's the Kerbin's, or I mean not Kerbin, Duna's orbit. I time warped a little there, and now I'm setting up on an encounter with Ike. Skipped ahead to do that. And there's me burning. I figured out where I needed to be, and then the maneuver node derped out, so I just burned without it. There's the intercept. I'm going to skip ahead to when I enter Ike's SOI. There it is. Here's me burning down to low periaps and essentially an immediate landing on Ike. This is also something that I've never done. I've always created a stable orbit first before I've gone in for a landing, so yay, a couple new things that I've done in this episode that I've never done before. And here's my landing sequence for Ike. Nothing too special, it's just Ike after all. Low gravity makes landing a breeze. Still landing. I got a bit too much lateral velocity too quickly, so that's why this landing is taking a bit longer than it probably should have. But it's always good, in my opinion, to be overly zealous with these sort of things so you don't have problems on the back end when you're close to the ground and can't do anything about it. Alright, so there I am landed. I'm going to go plant the flag. Falling over because Jebediah is a boss, or whoever this is. Might be Bill. I'm not sure. Alright, so here's me landing and then thinking, I want to burn retrograde this time. Do a retrograde orbit. So I landed again, quick saved. Now I'm doing the retrograde orbit. Yay, retrograde orbit. For no other reason than I felt like it. Me trying to figure out if I can get back to Kerbin from this burn. Turns out you can't just burn directly from Ike to Kerbin. At least I couldn't figure it out. So I just get into a stable Ike orbit for about 30 seconds before burning out and away from Ike towards Duna's SOI, which kind of just skips Duna's SOI and then goes straight into interplanetary space. At least that was the goal. Didn't quite happen. Got out into Duna's SOI. Actually, you'll just see it. So here it is. Alright, so here's me leaving Ike. Here's me in Duna. Didn't actually fling me out into interplanetary space, as you can see, so I have to burn again. And now I actually get interplanetary space. Here's me once I'm back out there, making my maneuver node for Kerbin intercept. And then it's 155 some days away, so I just skip through that. And there's me remaking it because it got lost when I was doing my time warping, because apparently I encountered Duna for a split second and it messed the maneuver node up. So there's me just burning back towards Kerbin. Alright, here's me about to enter Kerbin. Trying to lower the periaps, decide it's not worth the effort. And now I actually do lower the periaps for a landing thing. I was going to think about maybe hitting up mid-miss, but then I decided that I shouldn't bother because, you know, I had to dump that 600 some unused fuel. So that's the sad part about this. I could have done another landing on Dune and come back, or I could have hit up mid-miss or the Mun and landed on Kerbin with the fuel that I have plus the 600 that I would have had. let's just call it 400, because probably thrust to weight would have been a bit lower and stuff like that. Anyway, here's me landing on Kerbin. Didn't come in as fast as I was expecting, so that was unusual. That's me just trying to land at the second KSC area, so ignore that maneuver node. Decided it's not possible, so I just start deploying the chutes because I didn't have them bound to an action group, so I had to deploy them all manually. Always is a nuisance when you have chutes that you have to deploy manually because you have used them once already. At this point, that mountain's worrying me, so I burn and waste about 400 fuel trying to get to a small level spot that isn't the side of a mountain, because you don't want to land on the side of a mountain and ruin the entire mission, because, yeah, that's because of the stupid mountain. Always seems when I come from interplanetary space, I land on some mountain range. Don't know how. Always happens. Alright, here's me landing, just burning a bit more fuel to slow the descent even better for a nice soft landing. And that's all that I have done for this Reddit challenge series. I hope you enjoyed it. Just me jerking around under the landing leg, trying to see if I could fit for a nice screenshot. Couldn't fit, so here's the flag planting, and that's all that I have. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. Please let me know if you enjoyed this version of me talking better than the edited version. Thanks. Bye-bye.